The first public announcement here.
So is this an exclusive?
This is absolutely an exclusive.
We've genuinely, and we take the piss sometimes with exclusives and stuff.
It's a huge privilege to be invited into somebody's living room to chat to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, same as
That's
you
what
do
we
with
do
this.
here, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's a huge
absolutely.
privilege. There's a sense of responsibility comes with that, but there's particularly on...
With great power comes great responsibility. You just wanted
really
a
big
holiday paid for by your company. You wanted a little tax relief on the side, mate. A little bit of, there you go, to Edinburgh for a month. Yes, it's work.
In case there are people from HMRC listening.
Yeah, it's a big area, whereas yours is quite small.
Yes, yeah. I don't know how big it is, but it's about that big on a map.
Right, okay.
Depending on the scale of the map.
Mikey, leave it. Leave it. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. What is the aim with that, with young people? What are you trying to achieve by reaching these young people's ears?
What it says in the Ofcom key.
Don't make any nuts jokes. Yeah, he took my sticks off me. I have never felt so unstable. Right then, let's get cracking. Is it a good time for you to start on there, Mikey, to make reference to things?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right, ready to go? Let's do this. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Unstable Podcast with me, Ricky Balshaw, and today I'm joined by a good mate of mine, actually. We've become good mates, I think. Nick Mellors. You can't hear them, but they're going fucking wild at home now.
I can hear them. I can hear them making so much noise.
You can hear the future. You can hear the future when it gets released. That's fucking incredible. I love it. Thanks for coming, man. Really appreciate it. Obviously, I know you, but they don't. So just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, what you've done, in a brief.
In a brief. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So my name is Nick Mellors. I do a whole load of different stuff. I'm part of Takeover Radio 106.9, which is a community-based radio station in Ashfield in North Nottinghamshire. And it's a youth-based radio station because I clearly am the face of youth radio. For anybody listening on the podcast on Spotify, trust me, you did better. But I work with schools and colleges doing careers advice. I talk to young people about the world of work, what employers look for, how the world of work has changed.
Yep.
I started work in the 16th of February 1976. That was my first day in a proper job.
10 years before I was born.
Ask your granddad.
Just wanted to rub that in there, getting in there with the kidney shot straight away.
I work with young people whose parents weren't born when I started work.
Fair, yeah.
And it's awesome. And, you know, does it keep me young? Well, again, if you're watching the video, probably not. But I love doing it. I work in Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire and Staffordshire. In the professional industry, it's called social value stuff. So if you're a company and you're bidding particularly for public sector work, then social value is something you deliver as well as. Yeah. And I work with a company doing their social value stuff. Okay.
So with the careers stuff there that you did, because I remember at my school we had a whole careers department, and I'm going to be honest with you, Nick, it was seen as like, oh, we're just going to go there and just DOS for 20 minutes. Like, it was the place you went to just get out of class for a little bit. And actually, I've got to be honest, the careers there, it was shit. The teachers and the system itself was a lot better than the supposed careers advisors. So I'm hoping that's changing. Do you get better results? Do you get good results? And how are you, like, when the kids come in or when the kids are introduced to you, like, sort of, what's the success percentage, so to speak? You know, do you get many kids into work or work experience?
The vast majority of young people I speak to do not fall asleep.
That's great. Good. That's a great start, man.
That's use that as one. I would say the vast majority. I didn't say 100%.
Oh, yeah. It's like comedy. I'm not going to please everyone. Do you know what I mean? But as long as I can please the majority, I'm winning.
I think that, be serious for a moment, the challenge that schools have is they don't have enough resource to do the curriculum.
Yeah.
Certainly don't have enough resource to do the extras. So you're very much left with the passion of individuals in a school.
Yeah. course.
And I have the pleasure of working with some awesome careers people.
Okay, that's cool. That's refreshing.
But I do also know that administratively, it can be a nightmare trying to work with schools and colleges.
Yeah.
Because
tell me about it. We were just talking off pod. I'm doing it. I'm not going to go into it because the various reasons. There's no need to. But I'm doing this project at the minute, as you know, working with schools and colleges. And honestly, it's been challenging beyond belief. Like, I've been trying to offer this service literally for free for them. Like, it's been so hard to give. I've never struggled as much in my life to give something away as I have in the last 12 months. Like, I actually think I'd have had a better reception if I'd have gone in with a price.
Yeah.
It's almost like they think this guy's talking bollocks. It can't be.
And they don't even know you.
Well, the irony is the first school I went to was a school that I was at, and a lot of all the management do know me, and luckily they did say yes, in fairness. But it's been so hard to give something that I think, and I mean, I've spoke to you about the plan, a really good plan. It's been so challenging, so I do get what you're saying there.
And if you've got an idea of how you can help develop people, particularly around the creative industries, because we know the creative industries get slacked off. We know the creative industries don't get resourced.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be a scientist, everybody loves you.
Yeah.
If you want to be a creative, you might get a proper job first.
Yeah, and exactly that. Sorry to interrupt you there. It's like a proper job. When I told my dad I was going to be a comedian, he was like, "Are you going to get a proper job and all?" Like, Dad, no, I'm leaving my proper job. I've never really had proper jobs. There was a 6-year gap from being on the team to being a comic that I had a proper job.
Yeah.
And a few, because I was a bit crap. But yeah, no, it's being a creative or in the arts. It's like, I think the perception is that not many make it. So have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And I did, going into sport, I had a backup plan. That's why I did my GCSEs and my A-levels, and I got a degree, although it was a stupid degree to get, but I got it. I've got a degree to fall back on in case, I got an injury.
Yeah.
The sport I was in, obviously, you can be competing, and there was a lady on the team at the time that was late 60s, I beg your pardon, before she retired. And
yeah, but you had a horse to sit on.
Yeah, exactly.
It was hardly like you were running hurdles.
No, this is what I'm getting at. Like, there's the longevity in my sport is there. So once I was on the team, I thought, right, I made it now, but I'd got this backup, and then decided to retire and never use my degree. Yeah, but it's there on paper. So
I'm there with you, bro.
Yeah,
I have a fine art degree. I've never used it.
Yeah, my degree is in hospitality business management, so I can run a hotel if need be, and that's about it.
Basil Vault.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Basil. Yeah. Sorry, we've
Basil
gone way.
Could walk though.
my career. Sorry, Mikey. My career aspiration was to leave home.
Great. That's a great aim.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, and he still hasn't accomplished it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Where'd you live? Home.
Never. So my career aspiration was to leave home. I had to I had a scholarship. I went to a grammar school.
Okay.
And I had to go to be interviewed by the headmaster to leave school at 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't done. People like us didn't leave school at 16.
Right.
We did A-levels and went to university.
You did
and I didn't do any of those.
No.
I left school at 16 with O-levels because that's how old I am.
Yeah.
And I went to catering college.
Oh, cool.
So I
didn't know that. We got that in common.
Yeah, I did catering and hotel management.
Oh, we're on we should go into business together.
We absolutely.
I'll suck off comedy. You suck off all your stuff.
Oh, I'm glad you said sack. Sorry, I misheard that.
I'm not going to suck it off.
I did.
It's not that type of podcast, Nick. All right.
Oh, now you say.
No, I'll tell you.
I've got a load of material.
Oh, no.
So yeah, and I went, I don't like this. So I went into Manchester because I lived outside Manchester at the time.
Yeah.
And I went to what we would call a job centre today.
Yeah.
And looking at the boards, because in the olden days we had boards with postcards on them. And it was like everything needed experience.
Of course, yeah.
And how do you get experience if you haven't got a job? How do you get a job if you haven't got experience?
Exactly. It's that vicious cycle, isn't it?
And that's a challenge today. We might talk about stuff like this later. That's a challenge for young people today.
Yeah.
Spoiler, it was a challenge for young people in 1970s.
It's always been a challenge, yeah.
It's a thing, because even in the mid-70s, there wasn't quite the same pipeline that there'd traditionally been. You leave school at 14, you get a job in the factory, you stay there, you get a job in the factory that your mum or your dad works in.
The family factory.
You stay there for the next X number of years. You might finish up as a foreman, or you bob around doing a few things, or you might be a bit flash and be a salesman. And because they're not like proper jobs.
But absolutely.
It's almost like being a comedian. And, so that was what you did.
Yeah.
But how do you get into something that you didn't have a family connection with?
Well, yeah, it's like anything, isn't it?
And it's still today.
Yeah.
And Takeover Radio is based in Ashfield in North Nottinghamshire. And it's, again, one of our left behind communities.
Well, this is what I wanted to get onto because you do community radio. And I really wanted to talk about this, and I'm glad you brought it up early, because it's one of the things I wanted to chat about with you. So you do community radio. Just explain a bit about that and what it is and what you do.
So there's 3 types of licensed radio. There's the big public service stuff. So this is your Radio 1s, your Radio 2s, etc. There's commercial radio, which is, in our case, in Mansfield, we have 103.2. It's a commercial business operation.
Would that be sort of like Heart FM?
Heart FM, most of them are part of big conglomerates now. So Bauer and somebody else I'll remember in the car that own most of the so-called local commercial
That makes
radio.
a lot of sense, because I remember driving back from Heathrow once, and I was listening to Kiss, and this certain song came on, and then it was followed by another song, and then I flicked around, and then another station played the exact same playlist, but like sort of 5 minutes behind. It was mad. So any song that I liked the sound of, I was like, oh yeah, I'll listen to that again. So that makes a lot of sense. They're just fire in, rinse and repeat sort of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of, well, I mean, in fairness, a lot of BBC stuff is these days, but a lot of commercial stuff is syndicated.
Okay.
And so, like Heart have regional programmes.
Yeah.
They probably only have 2 hours, which is Heart Nottingham.
Yeah.
Smooth East Midlands,
Yeah.
whatever those things. The vast majority of them on. So it'll be the breakfast show and the drive time show.
Okay. Yeah.
Will probably be local.
Right. Okay.
The majority, and certainly once you get into the evening, the majority will be the same whether you're in Norfolk or not.
Okay. Got you. So
that's commercial.
That's commercial, but what you do.
And then there's community.
Yeah.
And so community, you get a defined geography from Ofcom, and you have a set of what they call key commitments.
Right.
And that is, why should you have a community radio station? Who is your audience? What is the need for it? So sometimes that's a geography, and particularly in like rural areas and things like that, it's giving a voice. It's about giving a voice to a community.
Okay.
So it may be based on ethnic groups, for example. It could be based on geography. Ours prime focus is around young people.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. What is the aim with that, with the young people? What are you trying to achieve by reaching these young people's ears?
What it says in the Ofcom key.
Don't make any nonce jokes. I know Mikey too well. I know exactly what was going through his head then, and this is why we don't allow him to have a camera in the public episodes.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
That in his face.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm very fortunate.
You guys couldn't see him then, but he was thinking some very childish things back there.
I wasn't thinking anything about children. I know you were.
And I have the advantage in this conversation that he's outside of my eye line, so I can't actually see him at all.
And that's a good thing, trust me.
Well, having met the young man, I imagine that's why you sit the guests here.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. And that's why we don't let him have a camera in the public episodes, Hi, guys. Do me a favour and go across to Patreon patreon.com/Ricky's Unstable. The first 1,000 members are just £1 a month for the lifetime of your membership. You get bonus content, you get early access, and all the fun from Ricky Balshaw's Unstable. See you there.
Yeah.
He's calling me ugly. Says I'm ugly in every episode.
Yeah.
Which is very harsh.
But the thing is that backfires normally massively on the Patreon episodes, but we'll get into that. I don't want to give the game away. If you want to find out, then join the Patreon, patreon.com/Ricky's Unstable. It's just £1 a month. You can be in on it. You could be in with all the rest of the stickheads. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
I was thinking, what a charming young man he is, but he is outside of my eye line.
Yeah,
so
that's it. You can't see him, so that's why.
By his appearance and his body language.
Yeah.
I do get distracted very, very easily, though.
Sorry, I was saying, what were you trying to achieve?
So at Takeover Radio 106.9, our focus, we were created to give a voice to young people in what is a left behind community.
Yeah.
Radio waves.
Sorry, what do you mean by that, a left behind community?
So our Telfords of this world, our Walsaws of this world,
right? Okay,
and all of those, half of Leicestershire,
that makes sense.
North-east and York, those places that used to have thriving industries, that no longer do,
that don't anymore,
and we're not going to rant about austerity and things like that, but. That
it's not the podcast for that, but I get what you're saying.
And at heart, we have people of all ages, not just young people. We have people of all ages who don't feel they have a voice, who don't feel people even know they exist. Now, does community radio change all of that? No, of course it doesn't. We're not trying to change the world in that sense.
No, but it's going to have an impact.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, without it, there's a lot less voices and ears on those voices. So there's definitely, you're definitely sort of hitting a demographic and making that change, just existing and being on the airwaves.
No, absolutely. And the other thing is sharing news and information that's specifically relevant to you where you are, to the person that you are.
Yeah.
So we talk about drop-in hubs in Hucknall because that means something to somebody who lives in Ashfield, even though you won't anywhere else.
It kind of makes sense what you say now, because that to me means absolutely nothing. I don't know nothing about a drop-in centre in Hucknall. I don't know where bloody Hucknall is, but for your local people who are going to be, who feel a little bit forgotten and they're hearing about these things, it's a cool thing to be able to do.
Absolutely. So it's kind of like micro-local.
Yeah.
So your Smooth FM East Midlands goes from Leicester to Chesterfield.
Yeah, it's a big area, whereas yours is quite small.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how big it is, but it's about that big on a map.
Right, okay.
Depending on the scale of the map.
Mikey, leave it. Leave it.
See, most things are about that big depending on scale. But,
depends who's measuring. And at what point of the day.
And it's cold in this room.
Yeah, it is cold. It is cold.
And I've been working... Oh, sorry, different conversation. But, so... We do a lot of stuff sharing community news. I was talking to somebody yesterday for a very short piece where we're promoting some stuff on how to get support if you live with people with dementia.
Okay.
So this is, there's national stuff where people go, these are the signs and whatever.
Yeah.
But this is about, and Sally's running a group down your road.
Yeah.
And that's what community radio can do.
Yeah. See, I've never listened to community radio, but you've just touched upon something there. My nan actually died last year to the day. She had dementia. So, those sort of things are really useful to people in the area, at that time that they are going through a certain hardship or good thing. I'm sure there are good things that, get mentioned
good things
as well.
Happening in Ashfield.
Good
we'll
groups,
talk about those as well.
Good groups as well to get into. But I think it's great that, to have something broadcast that's so, what's the word I'm looking for, sort of targeted at that locality, like that local area. I think it is a brilliant thing. You can really sort of make it niche for that demographic or the people rather who live in that specific area.
It's a huge privilege to be invited into somebody's living room to chat to them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Same as
that's
you
what
do
we
with
do
this,
here, yeah.
But it's a
absolutely.
huge privilege. There's a sense of responsibility comes with that, but there's particularly on...
With great power comes great responsibility.
And
yes. That's right, he's a big fan of Spider-Man.
All right.
Is our Mikey?
So it's not Martin Luther King then?
No. That's a Spider-Man reference right there. Yeah, I'm not good enough to do the.
Technically, it's an Uncle Ben reference. But
Uncle Ben. Yeah, Spider-Man brand. Fuck off, Mikey.
Spider-Man had been invented when I was young, but the 3,000 iterations.
Yeah,
of it
there's been a few. There's been a few. Sorry, I interrupted you then.
Daddy does remember watching the further adventures of Spider-Man when his children were growing up with a very attractive Terry Hatcher as Lois Lane.
Okay.
My poor daughters had to sit through episode after episode on a Saturday evening so Daddy could watch Spider-Man. Anyway,
that sounds so wrong. That sounds so wrong.
No, Lois Lane's the adult.
That was Superman.
No, I know, but just the fact that you're making your daughters sit and watch so you can have a perv.
That was the New Adventures of Superman.
It was Superman, not Spider-Man.
Superman, yeah.
I watched every episode of that.
Did you?
For the same reason.
Fair.
I was a teenager, so I was like...
You're ripping the end off it. Yeah.
Only in the evenings, not at the TV.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You were literally trying to Spider-Man the telly watching Superman. Spider-Man!
Yeah.
I didn't think with you as a guest the podcast would go down this direction today, so that's nice. It's nice little curveball.
See, this is why podcasts are better.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about this stuff.
Yes, we're not governed by anyone.
Not that I'm saying that your show is not better than our podcast, but...
No, you're on about just the industry, the controlled... Yeah.
And of course there is online radio and you can do pretty much anything on that.
Yeah.
But it's not regulated by Ofcom.
As we know, if you've been watching anything by Dave Longley recently. Have you seen his stuff?
I haven't, but I know Dave, so...
I don't know how he's getting away with it. It's fantastic. It's brilliantly funny, and I have no idea how he's getting away with it.
Because it's animation.
Yeah, no, but he's still using the. I'm not going to say it, but the logos, the quotes, the branding. Is that it? Because it's animation, he can get away with it. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Do you know what he's doing? In
fairness, I think. A lot of people have said for over a decade, I don't know how Dave gets away with his act.
Yeah, true. And even when, I think because once you've met Dave once, you know how talented he is. And when he's being serious, and when he's making a joke, his ability to jump into satire is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's seamless. And I remember the first time I met him, literally within minutes, he made this massively homophobic comment and it really took me back. And then I watched his set, I was like, satire. Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah, no, he's absolutely brilliant. If you are watching this, you're a fan of comedy, watch Dave. He's fucking great. He's really good at what he does.
Shades of Incognito.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, we digressed.
No coat hooks were damaged in the making of
None
this podcast. Yeah. I mean, clearly you can't get Ian here these days, but
well, yeah, it
if
would
you
be
did,
tricky.
Mikey,
Yeah.
you'd have your podcast studio around.
We'd have summit.
So we were talking about community radio, and it is the localized stuff, but it's also the ability to showcase local talent.
Yeah, I love that.
So I
love that.
I play tracks by local young people who would not get their stuff out on the radio.
Yeah, great.
Because they're not there yet.
Yeah.
There's a lad called Bradley McKnight who's based in Kirkby in Ashfield, and he's blind. I think he's been blind from birth, pretty much. That doesn't matter. But he's a blind musician.
Yeah.
But he's releasing decent stuff.
Fantastic. Love that.
And we've acted as the launch pad for a couple of his tracks.
Oh, great.
Which is nice. Because
give him our details, we'll get him on.
Right, we'll have that conversation. I don't know how we do the logistics of that.
Okay.
But he said, I caught up with him for the launch of his second track, and he went, it was so great being on last time. I'm going, and that's kind of you to say, mate, because we're only a little youth station. Go on. And he went, no, because I had messages from people going, hey, Brad, I heard you on the radio.
Amazing.
Well done, mate. Your music is great.
That's quality. I love that.
What a brilliant thing to be able to do. Now, I'm not slagging off Heart or Smooth or whatever, but you'd never get that on there.
It's a different... what they're putting out is different. They're grassroots would be different to your grassroots. And it's just great to be able to have a different sort of ability to get these opportunities and give these opportunities to different up and coming talented people.
And so I have a big thing, and it applies lots of places, not just Ashfield. But this thing that goes, and we touched on it about careers at one stage. People like us don't do stuff like this from places like ours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm from a working class background. I should not have done dressage for a living. I grew up in a council house. Dressage was not on my career sheet. Do you know what I mean? But we did it, and I'm sure with you, you know, same sort of thing.
No, absolutely. And so if we can give somebody that opportunity, that's great.
Yeah.
But then also that other young person who's going, oh, you mean I'm not the only person in Ashfield that fancies being a music producer off of a council estate?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
There will be several of you.
Yeah. And then actually, they can network and, you know, you can put them together or they could do, and it's great, all this networking and stuff.
So you know Sherwood, the TV series?
Yes.
James Graham, the writer, grew up in Ashfield.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Love that.
And he went to the local comp and he learned about, he never knew anything about the world of arts, but he learned it at school. They had a theatre in their school.
That's great.
And he went on to be a world-class playwright, writer, etc.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to see Punch, which is a play based in Nottingham, I'll just say it's the only time I have ever cried in a theatre.
Okay.
And it is the only time I've ever stood up and given a standing ovation in a theatre.
Wow. And that is high praise because you've seen my set.
Yeah.
No, I am taking the piss.
I know.
That is high praise. I'm going to have to stop there because we're going to have to go. We're just running out of time, and I've got so much more that I want to talk to you about because there's something in particular that you're doing with this radio station and an award that I really want to get into. We're going to go for
a McDonald's.
What? I can't get my words out, mate. We're going to go to a quick break now. Here's a word from our sponsors. Stick around, come back because we've got some really exciting news about the Edinburgh Fringe coming up. If you're into Pokemon, Warhammer, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that, get yourself down to Triple C in Siston, Leicester, where they can take care of all of your needs. They're also a CGC specialist, so if you find any comics or cards knocking around in your grand's attic, get them over there, get them graded, and you never know, you might be sat on a fortune. If you're listening to this podcast, you get 10% discount on all of the CGC products using code UnstableCGC10, and they'll give you 20% off all of the Warhammer products using discount code Unstable20. Thanks very much. Back to the pod. So, welcome back to part 2. Thanks for sticking around. Nick hasn't left. We didn't scare him off, which is amazing. You'd be surprised how many people we lose there.
I know you. I'm not surprised.
No, cheers for sticking around, mate. There's one thing that I really wanted to get into, and I think it's fucking brilliant what you're doing. And I'm going to let it come out of your mouth rather than mine. So tell us about what you're doing with the Edinburgh Fringe, and if you're happy to, why?
Absolutely. So, the first public announcement here.
So is this an exclusive?
This is absolutely an exclusive.
We've genuinely, and we take the piss sometimes with exclusives and stuff, but this is a fucking cool one. I'm dead proud to have this on as an exclusive here.
Don't swear because then I can actually release it as a clip.
I'm really proud to have this as an exclusive here. Like normally we take the mick and have a laugh about exclusives, but this is a genuine good one that I'm excited to have on the Unstable podcast. So thanks, Nick.
And when this goes out, there will even be press releases and things. But you're getting it first on the podcast.
Yes.
And that is, we talked earlier about Takeover Radio 106.9 and the fact that I'm very passionate about showing that people like us can do stuff like that from places like ours. And last year, you will remember, Ricky, from the Edinburgh Fringe, Dave, who had traditionally sponsored the Joke of the Fringe Award.
Not Longley that we were on about earlier, Dave, the TV channel.
Dave, the TV channel, who'd sponsored it for about 10 years or so, I think.
I think so.
they pulled out at quite short notice, which meant there was no Joke of the Fringe award. And indeed, several people stepped up. There's a guy whose name I forget now who did the other Dave.
Right,
He collected some jokes and he randomly spoke to a guy called Dave, literally in the street. He basically went, "Excuse me, is anybody called Dave here?"
That's amazing. I love that.
And he told them the jokes and the person.
And Dave picked
them.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
It is.
Gimmicky, but I like it.
What we did, we went the other way. We actually put some money into it through a company in Nottinghamshire that's funded it for us.
Do you want to give them a shout out? Is that allowed? Or
I'm very happy to shout out Innovation Nottinghamshire.
There you go.
Only because it's also my business.
Okay, thank you.
There was a reason why we got them on board.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That wasn't planned, but it was fucking brilliant.
Nick, would you like to sponsor the Joke of the Fringe Award? Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
cool.
So, we created the Most Valuable Joke at the Fringe Award last year. That was the first time we'd done it. And we worked with we'll try that on again. We worked with Nathan Cassidy and Sarah Bowles, who run the Edinburgh Fringe Awards.
Yeah.
And we created the Takeover Radio 106.9 FM-ish Joke of the Fringe Award.
Fantastic.
It was worth £500 in a penny.
And a penny.
Yeah. Which makes, most of the Joke of the Fringe Awards are for the fame. They're not actually for...
You don't get any financial... There's no prize, generally speaking, is there, for the Joke of the Fringe? It's all in the status and the ability to put it on your CV.
Absolutely. So we have people like Masai Graham, who's won it 3 times.
He's a great joke writer.
Absolutely. He's won it more frequently than Tim Vine.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Which is mad because he's not a household name, but as a jokesmith, he's fantastic.
No, absolutely.
When I did my month in Edinburgh, I shared a flat with Masai. And
God help you.
Well, you say that, and that is the impression you'd get. But honestly, him and Kirsty work so fucking hard. I was talking. I don't think they'll mind me saying this, but they pretty much earned their annual income. I mean, obviously they're both working comedians as well, but they basically Edinburgh is where they earn their bread and butter for the year. They work so hard. They must put on, I wouldn't even like to put a number on it, but they're constantly running a show here, then bounce, the minute later they've got the next one. Bang, 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 bang. That one pub that they're in literally.
Murphy's.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's one show after another, after another, after another. It runs constant for about 12 hours a day, plus the stuff they're running elsewhere, plus Masai's solo, plus Kirsty's solo. Honestly, they are flat out, and fair play to them. They're really hardworking.
I said Dropkick Murphys. They're not a Dropkick this year. They've moved somewhere else. I don't know where it is. So
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, absolutely, 2 of the hardest working people. They play quite hard as well.
They do play hard for sure. But no, they do work hard.
So we at Takeover Radio are going back again this year.
Amazing. So Takeover Radio are doing the Joke of the Fringe again.
Exclusive to the podcast for 2026, the Takeover Radio 106.9-ish Joke of the Fringe Award will be happening. There will be a prize of £500 and a penny.
And a penny.
For the Joke of the Fringe.
Fantastic. I mean, how cool is that? Like, as a premise, what you're doing is cool. And selfishly, it's so cool that it's been announced on this podcast. So thank you for giving us that. But I also like how you're doing it.
Yeah. Because
historically, it's been jokes are sent in. Is that right? I don't know. I've never...
Yeah. So historically, and the way, in fairness, lots of things happen. This is not just the Joke at the Fringe Award.
Yeah.
But so... As a comedian, that's what you are, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently. Right. Yes. That's what I try.
Right. Just checking. So as a comedian...
That's what my mum tells me.
Yeah, this proper job. So as a comedian, your agent, your PR, sends some of your stuff to somebody else's PR.
Yeah.
And they write find 10 of them that they think...
Take the names out of them, write them all down, and rate them.
And that they can kind of go, we could, this fits in how much copy we're going to give this.
Yeah.
And then, depending how they actually do it, they may give it to a panel of people or industry people.
Industry people judge it, basically.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
And then often before the festival itself is even happening, the joke of the Fringe has been announced.
It's almost announced at the start,
and it's kind of like, I get why, because it's huge if you are the winner.
If you're in the top 10, it's such a good advertising piece of information to say, here's my show, it's here at 6 o'clock at wherever, and I got the joke of the Fringe, come and watch it live, it's great.
Absolutely.
Doesn't help 11th and down.
It doesn't help 11th and down, but...
or anybody else.
But the way that our joke of the Fringe is done is that we collect jokes through the festival.
Yeah, mate, I love the idea of it.
So we've got judges around the place who are listening to shows. I think I did 76 shows.
I mean, what
last
a
year.
great gig that is. Like, just go to Edinburgh and just watch comedy and write down your favourite jokes. What a fucking great gig.
It's very hard. It's not a gig. It's very hard work.
No wonder your company put the bloody money towards it and then paid your ass to go out there. No, it's fantastic. It's great. I think it's brilliant that, because you're doing a number of things there. One, you're putting on a great award with a great prize for the acts, because Edinburgh is a fucking cost exercise. It's bloody expensive, and I'm not going to get into the politics of Edinburgh.
We can talk about accommodation costs.
Yeah, I'm just not going to get into it, because it's something that I don't fully understand and been involved in, because I've only done the one thing there, and there are so many different opinions. They're like arseholes. Everyone's got one. I'm just whatever. But it is bloody expensive. So I love the fact that there's a good monetary prize there. You're also putting bums on seats at people's shows who wouldn't necessarily have got those bums on seats filled. So you're doing that as well. You're filling up rooms for people, and then also you're actually judging the jokes that are being performed in front of you at that moment, because we all know you write a show for the Fringe or any show. There's a high chance that it's never the same. It's never word for word every time you do it. And occasionally you'll miss a joke. I remember watching a clip of Rob Beckett once on the Graham Norton show, and they played a clip, and Rob started wincing. He went, I wish you hadn't shown that one. He said, I missed out a joke during the filming of his special. Yeah. And it's a very real possibility that, let's say, let's take massage joke, and I don't mind using this joke because it's been on Dave. What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One's a little lighter.
Yes.
Yeah. Great joke. And I don't mind saying that joke because it's everywhere. I would never normally ruin anyone's, say anyone else's joke. But
it won't stop Massa using it either.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just not. But what I'm getting at is there is a very high chance that on the day that the reviewer, let's say, was in the room, he may not have used that joke during that set, or may have forgotten it, or for whatever reason it wasn't there, but it's still entered. So I love the fact that you're in the room watching these sets and judging what is actually being given out as art. I love it.
And also the reaction in the room.
Yeah. Do you know what would really help us grow is if you could subscribe to the channel and like the videos. It'll cost you nothing, and it really helps the podcast to grow. Yeah.
Again, when you see a list in the tabloid of your choice, you'll just go, well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in the room and you hear that delivered well.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a clip somewhere of Jo Caulfield, who won last year's.
We can put it in now, actually. You've sent us the clip. Is she happy for us to put it out?
Yeah, it's from the Ish. It's from the Ish Awards website.
Right. So Mikey in edit is going to put the joke in now.
Last time I got really drunk, I woke up in this filthy bedroom, like vomit all down me, some fat naked bloke snoring next to me. I was like, oh right, at least I got home okay.
Brilliant. And we've had this conversation on this podcast before, that I truly believe that with a joke, the majority of it is in the delivery.
Yes.
There are exceptions. you know, a lot of the one-liners, it's about the writing. I get that and da-da-da. But like with my style, for example, a lot of it is in the delivery. I would say 70% of what comes out of my mouth is only funny because of the way I say it. Maybe the percentages are slightly askew, but you know what I'm getting at.
Absolutely.
It's the delivery. So if you're looking at a joke written on a piece of paper, it's not the same as judging it delivered either in a room full of people or in an empty room.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's the delivery of that joke.
Absolutely.
And I think that is massive. And that's one of the reasons why I really love and admire what you're doing and the way in which you're going about it. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
And we can probably catch up in the Patreon bit about that whole thing about
we will in the
why a good joke writer can turn out to be a rubbish comedian.
100%. We can get into that, and we can also get into the shit that I don't want to talk about publicly about Edinburgh and prices and shit like that.
Every point that you made about why it's a good thing that's happening is very kind and true. For me,
you just wanted a holiday paid for by your company. You wanted a little tax relief on the side, mate. A little bit of, there you go, to Edinburgh for a month. Yes, it's work.
In case there are people from HMRC listeners, it's absolutely not the case.
No,
however,
they know I'm a comedian taking the piss. He is. Fucking watch him.
So I've been up to Edinburgh for the last 3 or 4 years because I'm hugely privileged, obviously. And year before last, I did a couple of radio shows from there.
That was the year I was up there. Year before last.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think... Did I talk to you then?
Nope.
No, I don't think I did.
No, you didn't, Nick. No.
Talked to Jacob Nussey. He's really
great.
good.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah,
Thanks.
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is a nice guy. Jacob is actually a lovely guy. I think he started a year, maybe 2 before me, but we're very similar.
I think of you as the same generation.
Yeah, with the same sort of
sense.
era, yeah.
He's from Ashfield.
Yeah. All right, stop blowing Jacob.
Got a really good show about his life working at Amazon in Ashfield. Anyway.
He's a good jokesmith, actually. He's a good writer. If you do get the chance to see him, I'm giving him shit. He's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I divert myself so
that's
often.
all right. That's what happens on podcasts,
But
mate. It's not a problem.
The real thing is that why should people like us in Ashfield not take part in some way in the world's largest arts festival?
Yeah.
There is no reason at all. There is no reason why a young person in Sutton or Kirkby or Hucknall, or I can list all the villages of Ashfield
I know what you're saying,
at this point,
Yeah.
but why shouldn't they be part of this amazing thing?
Yeah.
And even if it's at second hand, even if it's, our local radio station is taking part in this.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I bang on about this, you won't be surprised to hear, I make a point, or when I'm talking to the Chortles and the British comedy guides of this world, this is from Ashfield.
Yeah.
This is because people like us can take part in stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And I'm not totally sure if you have to see it to be it, but there is something in there that goes, what, you mean like folks from us are taking part in this? So the other thing I will say is that people in the industry who are going to Edinburgh, if you have a Nottinghamshire, or ideally in Ashfield, but if you have a Nottinghamshire connection, then get in touch with me because we will be doing some preview shows in the run up to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And we'll also be broadcasting through Edinburgh.
Great.
A show a week, basically, repeated a couple of times.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I won't get you to do it now. I'll get you to do it at the end, but we'll put all your socials and contact details in the description of this and in all of the clips and things, so that anybody who is watching from the local area that wants to be part of it, get in touch with Nick, and I'm sure he'll make that happen for you.
Absolutely.
Unless you're a dick.
Oh, that's going to narrow it down too much.
To be honest, no, even if you're a dick, because we're all dicks in comedy.
Which is actually my other thing, which is...
What, dicks?
People being dicks. Is... I have a problem with shit town jokes.
Okay.
I have a problem with shit town jokes because they're typically very lazy. And B, they punch down at communities like ours.
Yeah.
And every time you are struggling for a laugh, so you take the piss out of Derby because you're in Nottingham, or Walsall because you're in Tamworth, or wherever. Every time you say that, you are pushing that group of people back down the social mobility ladder.
The amount of times I've been comparing a room and the closer has come in and say, oh, what's the local shit down? To, not myself, but to a member of staff. And I agree. I deliberately haven't got any plans to do a shit town gag. I deliberately stay away from that stuff when I compare as well. Even when I compare in Telford, where I live, I just refuse to do the shit town gags. Accidentally, like you say, it is punching down, but it's just lazy. Yeah. It's just an easy cop out. And although I'm very anti joke theft, and whilst it's not necessarily joke theft, it's so, the jokes are so easily crossed over that it's the same joke, just with a different build up and ending. Now, I know that sounds stupid to say, but it's just another way of putting that town down, whether it's because they're thick or the person you're talking to is thick. Oh, you must be from Ashford. Do you know what I mean? It's the same joke disguised. So it's not your joke. Don't fucking do it. Mm-hmm. Don't be lazy. But you're absolutely right, because it's also a punching down joke, which I fucking hate as well. So
I got a round of applause for saying that at the awards ceremony last year, because actually people went, that's a thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean, again, we can talk later. Having done some stage work, I think it is just so lazy.
It is lazy.
Because frankly, if you can delete Derby, insert Plymouth, and not change anything else, that wasn't a very crafted joke, was it?
No. I mean, you could argue that it's a very well crafted joke, the fact that you could make it unique for wherever you are. Mm-hmm. There's that argument, but I disagree, because it's that fucking commonly done, and it's been done. If you were the first person to think of it, fair play. You're not. Yeah. So it's not clever. Yeah. It's shite. I agree. Yeah.
Which is also why it's important to me that we do this, that we showcase places like ours. Yeah. And go, A, we have creative people. Yep. B, we are entitled to be here. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. People like us can take part in stuff like this. Yeah. And C, I will occasionally bang on about shit town jokes, but beer is often, red wine particularly, is very good.
You're a red wine man, aren't you?
Yes, I have been known to have a small one.
There's been a few evenings where we've been chatting on Facebook, and I've known you've had a glass of wine in the hand, and red is your tipple. Yes, I do know that.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Edinburgh's very good. They have lots of wine. Yeah. They have whiskey as well, which is also very good. I'm
more of a brandy man myself. Brandy over whiskey for me.
Yeah, no, whiskey. Campbelltown whiskey.
If it's a good whiskey, I can do it. I can't do shit whiskey. Years ago, I went round to, I had this client who I was teaching to ride horses. I used to teach from. Very, very wealthy couple, and they had an outbuilding that they had out as an Airbnb, and they invited me round one night, had a few drinks, and I stayed in this building. Anyway, he was part of a whiskey club. Yes. And every month they sent him some whiskey, and one of the ones that they'd sent was this, I think it was like 300 quid for this little bottle of whiskey, and he brought it in after he'd already had a few drinks, and he's like, I've been saving this for a special occasion. I'm like, mate, this ain't a special occasion. He's like, no, a special occasion. So he gave me a little pour. I say little pour, it was a whole pour. So I don't know how much it is. Honestly, mate, the nicest, it almost didn't taste like whiskey. It didn't burn. It was bloody lovely. We finished the bottle, right? But I still felt okay. I was sat there. I was fine. They went into the house. I stood up. My fucking legs just gave way. I'd lost the ability. I was cognitively there. I could speak. I knew I was. I was there. Like, normally, drunkenness with me, it comes with a fog, it comes with a haze, it comes with a cloudiness, and it's a gradual decline. Mm-hmm. It actually helps me walk after a couple of drinks, and then it declines because it reduces the spasticity. This stuff had turned me paraplegic. It turned me quadriplegic. Yeah. I couldn't move my legs. My girlfriend at the time had to drag me into the other room just so I could get into bed. It was Lovely stuff, but fucking did me in. Mate.
Campbelltown is the smallest whisky region in Scotland. They have 3 distilleries.
Okay.
And they all make excellent whisky.
Well, I shall be sure to give them a go.
Check out Campbelltown Whiskers.
Will do. Right, we're going to have to start wrapping this up, mate. I'm ever so sorry. You wanted to give a shout out to somebody before we finish this public episode?
So you can check out Takeover Radio on the TikTok, on the Facebook, on the Insta.
Yeah.
And
what are the handles there?
They're all versions of Takeover Radio 106.9.
Okay.
So Insta is Takeover 106 _9.
Don't worry about it now.
But it's those things.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
And and also on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because one of my roles at Takeover is around funding and things like that.
Okay.
So we have a business focus side as well. So if
Great.
you're professional, you can find us on there. I'm also going to give a shout out to anybody who's in the industry who has a need for DVDs, CDs, USBs, all of those acronyms. And that is talk to Alpha Duplication in High Wycombe.
Okay.
They're brilliant. They're a small company. They have some awesome staff. One of whom just happens to be my daughter.
Okay.
But,
there you go.
Talking to her in the car this morning, they're doing work with Steel Eye Span. I mentioned this earlier, audience. Nobody in this room has ever heard of them.
No.
So if you're, well, the lead singer I think is about 80 now, so that gives you a flavour of them.
The lead Weezer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. We'll put all their contact in the description. No problem at all. We'll do that. Are you happy to stick around and do a bit for the Patreon for us?
Yes, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, me too, actually. Thanks very much. Guys, if you made it this far, you're amazing. You're one of our stickheads. Thank you very, very much. We're going to go across to Patreon now. It's patreon.com/Ricky's Unstable. It's still just £1 a month for the first, £1 a month for the first 1,000 members, and that will all you'll be paying for the lifetime of your membership. Just £1 a month. I understand, though, that times are hard at the minute, so if that's too much, completely understand, completely appreciate that. But if you do us a favour, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you see our clips come up, give them a like, give them a share, comment, tell everyone about the podcast. Again, we're going to go over to Patreon now, which is patreon.com/Ricky's Unstable. Tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your nan, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey.
Bye.